interviewing Anshuman Jha, who played the role of Rahul in Love, Sex Aur Dhokha by Dibakar Bannerjee. It was an award-winning film. And I met Anshuman last year when I was shooting with my daughter for Love, Lust and Confusion. And he's just great fun to talk to. And he's a boy who's very different. So the other day I spoke to him on the phone and he said that I've spent really good time during the lockdown because I'm reading the Indian scriptures. So I've been reading the Upanishads, and he said I've had the time to do it, which I wouldn't have had if I wasn't like stuck at home and, having to do something. So I think that's such an amazing way of spending one's time. And, I'd like to bring it to you guys. What are you doing that's different? What are you doing for inner reflection and resetting those buttons inside you? Because all of us need to do that. Look, we're human, and all the things that come with being a human are there. So I'm going to read something from the Upanishads, which is one of my favorite quotes, which says, "You are what your deep driving desire is. As you desire, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny." So what are you doing about your desires? Are you giving in to them all the time? Are you resetting them? Are you re-looking at yourself from inside? Remember, that choice is yours, but this is the time to do it. What are you going to do going forward? What sort of human being are you going to be? And now there are two bits of news, which are bits of hope that I wanted to read to you. One is that the government allows neighborhood shops to open from today. So that's good, in the areas where there's no containment zone. So that's good. And another thing is that all around the world, 60% of pollution has dropped down because of the COVID shutdowns. So I think that's amazing. Delhi has experienced a 60% reduction. Mumbai has experienced a 34% reduction. And the cities are Delhi, London, Los Angeles, New York City, Madrid, Mumbai, Rome, Sao Paulo, Seoul and Wuhan. So that's good. Now I'm going to bring Anshuman on. So all of you can meet him and we'll ask him about what he's been doing besides reading the Upanishads and what skills he's using at this time to help him go through the lockdown with good balance. Love you too. Hi Surya. I'm bringing on the Anshuman Jha. Hi everybody. Hi Sakshi. Hey!
Auntie.
Hey, but you're ulta.
Am I? Sorry.
Now you're Seedha. Ab bachcha Seedha ho gaya.
See, I have been asked millions of times to join. Okay, millions is a little too much. Maybe a few tens or hundreds times. But I don't know. I'm a little tech challenged in terms of using. I was not even on Instagram till 2 years ago.
You're doing very well, I have to say.
It's a lot of people. When I posted that I'm going live on Instagram with you, a lot of people messaged me saying they were upset because in the last 2 weeks I made an excuse that yaar mujhe ye sab nahi aata and I don't want to, because there's already so much happening that I feel the phone is a distraction.
Hi Soumya. Sorry. Okay, yeah. I'm going to only look at you now.
And I just try to stay away from the phone. So I feel there's already so much Insta Live and so much and also because, like you said, because what I'm doing, I'm trying to keep myself away from technology for as possible, unless absolutely necessary. But when you said you want to do it, I jumped on the idea and I said, yes, you're somebody, you and I speak the same language and I love talking to you. Yes.
Yes, and congratulations. Your web series on MX Player is going to be out soon, Mastram.
Yes.
And my darling daughter, Tara Elisha Berry, is co-starring with you as the lead actress.
I would go as far as saying she's my favorite co-actor of all the women. Wonderful. All of them love, but Tara is just a very special person, I feel. Yeah.
So are you, Anshuman. You're also very, very special. And we're kind of matching because you're in this wonderful lime green and I'm in bright yellow. So we
That's my
thought
color.
this.
Yellow is my favorite color, as you can see.
See,
You'll see a
yeah,
lot all around my house.
yeah. So, first, before we start, before I talk to you, did you know that Om Asatoma Sadgamaya and the Gayatri Mantra are both from the Upanishads?
Yes, I discovered that when I started reading it. I've been reading, reciting. I do a small puja every day after having a bath. I was
Okay.
born in a Brahmin family, so
Yes.
I had a mundan and then I had a janau, and after janau,
Okay.
supposed to say the Gayatri mantra every day, minimum
Okay.
11. Uh,
Very good.
but I was not aware that the Gayatri mantra is actually from the scriptures and the
I know.
yeah. So there's so much that's coming to me that a lot of things which we know are wrong. It's misinformation.
Yes.
Uh, my mother passed away this January, and she used to always tell me that uh, Ardh Vidya. Okay, sorry about that. That's my companion for my
Hi, darling.
life.
Ah,
She used to say half knowledge is a devil's house, and I think we live in a society filled with half knowledge because
yes,
we think that going on Google and getting information is knowledge. There's a huge difference between information and knowledge.
I
And
agree
knowledge
with you.
has persistent studying of something. And something as simple as, we were all told about the Lakshman Rekha in the Ramayana.
Hanji, हाँ,
Happened to read the original, Valmiki's version, which is the
हाँ,
original Ramayana.
yes,
And there is Lakshman Rekha in it. It's a fictional, imaginatory element added
हाँ,
in Tulsidas's version. But when you look for truth, you go back to to the
yes,
closest, right?
yes, yes.
So fascinating, isn't it? That there's no Lakshman Rekha in the Ramayana. There's no
Wow.
chapter as a mention, and all our life we've been discussing it, right? That he drew a
Yes.
Lakshman, crossed
Yeah.
it. It's
But I
big,
think the
yes.
best way to learn this is really by word of mouth. So my grandmother and great grandmother taught me the Gayatri Mantra and used to talk to me about the Ramayana and tell us stories from when I was 5 years old. When I was 5, I learned the Gayatri Mantra. So I feel that my first guru was my mom and my grandmother. And they are the ones, and people say that women shouldn't do it. But hello, I was taught by the women in my life, and they taught me how to do havans also. In my house, the women used to do havans. So I think a lot of this stuff that's in books and here and there is okay, that's also fine, not to diss anything. But when it's handed down from generations, it's amazing.
When I started reading the Upanishad, I realized that a certain time period there was no written text. I mean, the written material was considered for the foolish or the people who were dumb. Everything, no, it's a fact.
Yeah,
Everything was heard through reciting. So memory
Yes.
was the only way, which is how even the Vedas have gone from one generation to the other over the years.
Yes.
And it was only when Ved Vyasa realized that human beings are becoming more and more selfish, more and more external, and he realized that everyone is so outward that the
Yes.
memory power is reducing, which is
Yes.
when he decided to pen it down, and which is why he wrote, thank God he wrote it, because he
Yes.
realized that his students, the able students were reducing over the years, who could remember all that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he realized that maybe 2 generations down the line, there will be nobody, which is when he penned
Yes.
and wrote it down. And I'm so glad that he did.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's kept me in good stead.
I'm glad also. Yes. You're looking very bright and happy, I want to tell you.
Oh, I am, Auntie. The thing is, I hardly step out in general. I'm not a party animal. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Never have. Never will.
I know that. That's the first thing you ever told me, That's the first thing you ever told me the night of that celebration of
Party.
Love Last at a party.
Yeah.
Even I don't go to parties, but guys, we met at a success party for Love, Lust and Confusion and your show as well. Right?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
And the first
There are
thing you
few
told me.
few people I connect with, and Victor and Neha are two human beings I really connect with, not on a work level, but even as people. So when they call me for something, I like to be the first in and the first out. Though I won't lie, that night I didn't let me go for a really long time. I was out till like 12:31, which is
And
really
I was
late.
the first out.
You
I
were the
was the
first.
first out.
See, auntie, you have an excuse. You live in South Bombay. You say, I'll get late.
I'm
When
also
you live,
auntie. I'm also auntie, na? So I can say bye. Auntie's leaving.
no, but you also have Tara, no? Tara is such a hard taskmaster. Nobody messes with Tara. If she says, I gotta go, you gotta go.
Agree. I gotta go. But she stayed. I went. Yeah,
Yeah,
she stayed.
did she? No, auntie, she left. I remember, she also left. You both left.
Oh, okay. So she said, I gotta go.
I remember. The two people I wanted to
yeah, we both left. But I wanted to leave. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been
Yeah.
amazing.
So now
auntie,
tell
because
me, besides reading the scriptures, what else?
to be honest, I've been cooking a lot. So, because just brutally honest with you, that it's the first time I've been locked in the house since my mother left. So it's been a little hard because it's been home without her. Otherwise, my girlfriend was here, and I always had the freedom to step out. So I was kind of running away from it. This time has given me the time to just make peace with it, and I think the scriptures have really helped me see perspective in what has happened and why it has happened. I've been cooking a lot, so I've been cooking a lot of her recipes. Like last night, I sent you the paneer. So I'm trying
How
the
is
same
it?
taste.
How
it
is the
was fantastic.
paneer? Okay, tell us how you made it.
I don't want to beat my own drum, but my mother used to do this. So she used to make the tomato puree separately. She used to boil the onions and make the puree from the onions, and then she would put oil in a kadhai and put cinnamon and badi ilaichi and cumin seeds and some garlic cloves, and then fry that, and then go with stepwise. First with the onion puree, let that get golden. The tomato, let the smell of that vanish, and then put the paneer and the green chilies, and put some garnishing of coriander leaves. So
It looked amazing.
yeah,
It looked amazing.
tasted good. I had it for lunch today also. So that's the other thing I'm doing, cooking. But a byproduct of cooking is utensils.
Eating. Okay, cleaning. That's a tough one.
That's my least favorite of all this. Jhadu pocha is fine. Cooking, I love. I love cooking.
Washing.
Utensils, but I've discovered a way to crack that also. My brother makes these. My brother is actually a software geek. He works at Edelweiss and he handles their. He's a software engineer. But his hobby is mixing music. So he sends me a new set of made at home now because he's at home. He's locked down. So what I do is I play his music, and then I move and clean all the bartans. So it's a lot of.
So how does he send you this music?
He puts it on SoundCloud and he sends me the link.
Oh, lovely.
So then I
you download it.
And on the Bluetooth, the whole. And he's very good. He loves in fact, a lot of English music that I listen to.
He listens to me.
I have always loved Bollywood. He used to beat me up for listening to Bollywood when I was a child. And he's only listening to English rock and pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give us 3 songs that you love at this time.
3 songs that I love at this time.
Which he's put on his SoundCloud and which you're listening to.
One of the mixes he made, I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan.
Oh.
And I love jazz. And he made one mix which had Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly me to the moon.
Then my girlfriend's from North Carolina, and she keeps sending me these country songs because she's lived and grown up, and right now she's at a home which is on the countryside. So
hi, Sierra. You can say hi to her from all of us.
Must be sleeping right now, but she's told me she'll get up and
I'll watch this.
Yeah. Country Roads is another
Okay.
that, and then
Country road, take me home to the place I
I
belong. My
yeah,
brother's best song, West
yeah.
Virginia.
And then I've been listening to a bunch of. There are a lot of Hindi songs which I love, which are like my feel-good songs.
Like,
Um, oh, so hard when somebody asks you for a song, it just goes poof. You just finish.
obviously, we're doing an interview.
Yeah,
It happened.
that
Yeah,
happens, doesn't it?
yeah.
But I think there's a song from uh, there's a film called New York, which had a song called Hai Junoon Sa Jeene Mein.
Yes.
That's on my playlist. My favorite Hindi list later, but Junoon for now from New York. That's a song I really absolutely love. Mm, the Animal song, Savage Garden. That's another one on my playlist. I love that and I listen to that a lot.
Anshuman, somehow the signal here is very bad. I'm going to, no, now it's better. Suddenly it went off a little bit, but now it's okay.
You tell me when it goes off, Auntie, I'll just send some magic power.
Yeah, send some magic power from the Gayatri Mantra or Om Asatoma. And it'll get okay. Okay, so tell me something besides the scriptures and listening to your brother's like really deadly music. What else?
Well, Auntie, I have kind of got myself, I like routine in life.
Yeah.
I like a system. I've always been like that. I also break it once in a while just to, I mean, do a reshuffle. But
Yes.
from the 17th of March is when I locked myself in, which is when Sierra left. So from the 17th of March, I was, hi Shruti. She just sent me her recipe for Gujarati dal. So I'm going to make that tomorrow.
Hey, what fun. And also, you put it up then, okay? You post it, and I'll also send it out to everybody. And everybody will do question answers at the end. So keep your questions ready and send them in at the end. I'll tell you that now is the time for question and answers, and Anshuman will answer everything and more.
So what I've been doing, I've made a routine. I wake up every morning, I make my own cup of tea, which is also a story. I like my tea my way. So I'm very happy at home and I'm making, like when I go on shoots, like ask Tara, she'll tell you when we were in Bali, I would go to the kitchen and tell the chef that put this much milk, this much. The first 2 days, I would go and make my own and teach them this is how I want it every day. Because that kind of sets the tone for my day. So because I'm home, I'm only too happy to be making my own cup of tea.
Okay, so please tell us the recipe of your cup of tea.
I measure it by the cup. So I drink it in the mug. I don't do tukka. I don't like it. Just pour water randomly. So I measure the water I want. Then I put a nice thick chunk of adrak and crush it. The juice, you know.
Squeeze out all the juice.
Yeah, I make sure I take the juice out and put it in so that it's flavored. Then I put very little milk, and by little I mean 2-3 teaspoons, not more. I don't like too much milk.
Okay.
And once that has happened, I put the tea leaves, and I only drink. There's a particular tea brand which I drink, which is the Natural Care of Red Label. I advertised for it once, so they gave me some free boxes, and since I love it so much, not because I advertised, but I just loved it that I've just stuck on. So I have
faithful to it.
Yeah, in fact, Sierra loved it so much that she took a box of those back home and she's been making my tea. And then when I let it soak for about 30 seconds, and when I put it in the cup, I just put some black pepper on top and jaggery powder for sweetness.
Yummy.
So that's so I make my tea.
It's a whole production.
Yeah. Then 2 hours are assigned for the Vedas. So I have only read the 10 Mukhya Upanishads so far. And now I'm on to the Gita. So it took me 4 weeks to do the 10 Upanishads. And the last 6 days I've been on the Gita, and yeah, it's been. Auntie, the good news is because we can't step out, it's giving me
Yes.
time to step in. So through the day, I write a lot of notes. I write a lot of self experiences. Like all my life, I have. It's one thing I take. I thank all my teachers that self awareness is instilled in me from a very young age. So I have a very clear memory of what choice I made at what time. That lovely quote you read from the Upanishad, it's one of my favorites because it says your will decides your action, right?
Yes.
So your desires are directly related to the choices you make.
Yes.
A lot of people keep saying that it's all destiny, it's all written. And no, nothing is written, because if your mind is in the balance, then you always make choices from a good place, from a place of goodness, which is sattva. And if you're making good choices, good things will happen to you and will give you a peace of mind. So there's about 2 hours in a day I end up writing those notes from my past, from what I have observed with people close to me, if wrong things have happened to them. And if I know them close enough, I realize why it's happened to them. So I've been doing that. Then I take Casper for a walk 2 times a day. And I play some cricket. Actually, I love being alone.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, my mother used to go to work. So I would, coming back from school, on days when I was not going for a class or something, painting or cricket, I would just spend 4 hours with the wall. So all I need is a
Ball.
ball,
Okay.
and bat, and I can just knock it around for 2-3 hours at least.
Okay.
And that I've been watching a lot of good stuff on.
Like, what have you been watching? Okay, no, but before you tell us what you've been watching, tell us something from the Gita that has really impacted you at this time. Maybe not something you've observed in other people, but impacted you at this time, and you feel, okay, wow, this is really helping me a lot.
Auntie, I've just crossed the introduction of the Gita. So I'm starting tomorrow, but there's something that I have learned, which again has been an eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that, you know, the Gita, who's the scribe of the Gita?
Tell me.
You know who wrote it?
Tell me.
Lord himself.
Yes,
so So Ved Vyasa got Lord Ganesha to write it, and Lord Ganesha is very fast.
Yes.
So Lord Ganesha said that if you stop reciting, I will leave. I will not write. So Ved Vyasa was very stressed because he was like, it's something so intense.
Yes.
There are times I need time to think, to speak, right?
Yeah, yes.
What Ved Vyasa did is that he came up with these koot verses. They're called kutas. Yeah. And very intense verses. Yeah. Which you need to really think about. So he responded to Ganesha by saying, fair enough, but you promise me one thing, you will not write until you've understood what I have recited.
Wow.
So, okay, done deal. So what Ved Vyasa kept doing is he kept throwing these heavy verses in between when he needed time to think, to recite.
Good
and
one.
when Ganesha used to go thinking, they're called koot verses, I think. So I found that very, very interesting. And one of such verses, he told Lord Ganesha that, you know, the 5 purest things on the planet. It's a Sanskrit recital, but it's very heavy. So I may not pronounce it right, but I have...
Don't worry, it's fine.
But he said, so I'll read the translation. He said, or recite the translation from what I understood. He said there are 5 pure things in the world. Jhutha, in the sense jhutha, when somebody...
Khane ka jhutha.
Jhutha dena. Ashes from a crematorium. Vomit.
Hey.
And a place to pass stool. So Lord and said, how can these 5 things be the purest on the planet? And he started thinking, because he couldn't write it. He couldn't write the verse till he had understood it, right?
Yeah.
So then he started using all his gyan and all his knowledge, and he came up, he slowly, with Ved Vyasa's help, realized what Ved Vyasa meant by a dead body. Silk, which is considered as the purest fabric to wear, is made during the silkworms are still alive when in the processing of the silk, and it's only when the fabric gets formed, and it is considered the most purest fabric to wear. So the whole concept of pure dead body comes from silk, the fabric. Vomit comes from the fact that when honeybees suck the nectar from flowers, they go and puke it out, which is what leads to the formation of honey. And honey is considered the purest form of, even in pujas and yagnas, it's poured on the...
In Panchamrit, we use honey. It's one of the ingredients.
Nothing but honeybees.
Vomit. We vomit. Thanks, Anshuman.
Jutha was the most fascinating. When a mother cow has to give milk for the first time, she needs a calf to suck it out of her. Only then the milk flow becomes regular. You can't mechanize the first time a mother cow gives milk. It needs to be a calf sucking the milk. So technically, because the calf has sucked the milk, everything else after that is Jutha. And cow is the purest food, right? Like people say that there is nothing purer than milk in a lot of ways. And a place to pass stool is birds love shitting on a banyan tree. Okay. And if you'll observe a banyan tree, it'll always have the maximum amount of crap, bird poop. And we pray. It's considered sacred, right? People put temples under banyan tree. Banyan leaves for so many. So that's where that place to pass tool. And what was the last? I think ashes from a crematorium. It is said when you put on Lord Shiva, it gets purified, right? People keep it as a memory after in some of the rituals after. So Lord Ganesha, took time to figure that out. And while he
get to that,
structured the next set. So my favoritist has been about happiness, because I see a lot of people, auntie around me, including, and everyone, I'll speak for my own experience. We keep looking for happiness, and as I've started Gita, in the Gita, Krishna has said the world is a dukhalaya. So it's a place of sorrow. So you're looking for the wrong place, technically. And the only way I have, and there is a lovely gentleman called Shubha Vilas who's very much responsible for me discovering these things, because he's the author of the Ramayana series that I read. He's done a literal translation in English of Valmiki's Ramayana, and he's written this amazing book called Upanay Meditations. And through these, I've discovered that, and now after having gone through the 10 Mukhya Upanishads and the beginning of the Gita, that we keep looking for it at the wrong place, because real happiness comes from dealing with real problems, right? And the real problems of life are just three. I think death, disease, old age, because these are things none of us can avoid, even if we want. All of us will get it, one way or the other, directly or indirectly. Everything else in life is relative. I mean, one man's poison is another man's sweet. I mean, some people have, say, marriage issues, some people have money issues, but it's all relative. Right? So those are all relative issues. They're not real problems. We make them a problem because of our thinking.
So that is what I've been saying every day about this time. Yes, we're locked down. And yes, there is a disease which is like very close to our door. But the thing is, the minute you're born, the minute you take your first inhalation, it is guaranteed that one day you'll take your exhalation. So how much time are we going to spend worrying about that? This is the time really to go within and see what you want to be, see who you want to be, and what are you going to present now when it's all over? What sort of human being are you going to be? What are you going to take out there into the world? How are you going to serve others? It's really important to think about it, as Anshuman has done. He's taken this time to really look within and read the scriptures and then make notes. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, you're too good. Okay,
Yeah,
now the
no,
shows you've been watching. The
show that
shows
I've
you've
been
been
watching.
watching.
Mm, no, Auntie, I'll quickly finish that thought
Finish
on
something,
happiness.
yes.
I,
Yes,
I was in the
finish
middle.
that thought. Yes, yes,
I was trying to say that, and it's something that I would really want to share with everyone.
yes.
Is that most people mix two states of happiness and fun.
Yeah.
Happiness is actually peace, contentment. It's a feeling which, I like the world the way it is right now. You are at peace with yourself. True happiness comes from that core.
Yes.
Fun is, I feel, the modern world's replacement of happiness. When one is unable to reach that state which I just mentioned of happiness, what one does is you go out every weekend, you party, you drink, you do all the wrong things which you're not supposed to, and
Yes.
you take your brain to a place where it stops thinking, right? And you therefore start assuming that you're happy, not because you are in a state of happiness, but because you have suspended your unhappy thoughts. And then you
Absolutely.
keep feeding it with the bad habits over and over again, thereby disturbing your body, disturbing your mind, taking the whole balance off, and then giving it an excuse. Everybody gives,
Yes.
like, whereas the truth is, the core deficiency is somewhere in you, and you're not looking for that and fixing that. Instead, you're using an external stimuli. It could be partying every night or drinking every night or any of these things.
Absolutely. Yes.
Give yourself reason to think that, but it's important that we all use this time now, since we cannot do,
Yes.
to actually pay attention and go to the root of those real things which is bothering each one of us.
Absolutely agree. That's why I started Cope with Hope. But what are you
Yeah, and
doing? What are you doing?
it's
This is the time.
this is the time, and this is a beautiful time. I mean, I know these are hard
Exactly.
times, and we are privileged to be sitting here in our homes having enough food. There are a lot of people outside who aren't as privileged as us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I believe that if we all do our bit, like I am making sure that my maid who's not working for me is safe and secure, my driver is safe and secure, my guards are safe and secure, my dogs around the street dogs have enough food every day.
Yes. Yes.
That is my contribution. If each one of us does that on a very small basic level,
Yes.
like I heard from somebody, they've stopped paying their maids. Please don't do that. I understand if this goes on for 5-6 months and then everyone individually starts running out of resources for themselves. I will understand, but it's not even been a month. I think we all need to just contribute in our small little ways.
Yes. Yes.
And internally jump in, ask yourself the hard questions as to why are you struggling with the same mistakes again and again.
The thing is, Anshuman, because we can sit here and have this conversation, because we can make paneer, because I can make myself dahi chawal, I live in privilege. And because I live in privilege, then I feel it is my duty as a human being to be able to serve the other in the best way I can. For some of us, we may not have a lot of money. For some of us, we may have money. For some of us, we may have the ability to pray a lot or to chant a lot. However your way is to be able to serve the other. Because we are privileged, we must use this time to do something out there. As you said, you're looking after the maid, you're looking after the watchman, you're looking after the dogs around your building. Each of us should see, how can I help? How can I serve the other? This is the time we can really do it.
Contribute.
All of us. Yeah, to contribute, yeah. And if we do, often, yes, everybody
we are but a speck of dust and we won't matter, but we will. If each one of us makes that little change, all of us can matter, and it comes from a place of, and now you don't even have that excuse. I mean, all the money, I tell some of my friends, all the money you used to drink and smoke, donate that money to someone else.
Absolutely. And the thing is that anytime you feel down at this time, oh God, what's going to happen? The guy next door reading. Stop reading too much stuff. Once a day or once in 2 days, connect to what's happening and spend the time instead to see how you can change, as you said, to look within, to see how you can help. That same amount of time you spend in thinking, oh God, it's terrible, I'm so scared. Convert into this, convert into something to give out there. And
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant what you're doing.
It's also a great time, Auntie, to stop worrying about externals.
Absolutely.
I mean, in our line of work and in our industry, like, I'll again come from a very personal example. People beat me up when I say this.
No, please don't get beaten up. Please say it.
I have never cared, and I won't.
Good boy.
You know, when I joined Instagram about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I had my whole team saying that, you know, when Bollywood actors join Instagram, you're supposed to get at least 1 lakh followers, and, you know, so that it puts out a perception and impression and all that bullshit. And I just heard them for 20 minutes. And I said, we are not doing any of that because that's bullshit. Because if you make a change or a difference to one person, which is what my teachers have taught me over the years. Or Barry John, with whom I did my first diploma course in acting, he told me, Anshuman, if with your honesty, you can move one person in the audience, make them feel, one person, job's done.
Absolutely.
And I follow that mantra. Everyone, whether it's Atul Kumar, they've all told me that we owe it to the audience. So you need to be honest and always give out something to the audience that they haven't seen from you and which emotionally connects with them. And I apply the same logic to most things, that you should just, I think I'll go around on the same. So the thing was that...
Please go around on the same. It's very important.
Forget the likes. Forget the views. Forget this external validation. Forget the need to keep doing things online. Because it's bullshit.
I agree. Get here to the heart. Yeah, I agree with you. Get to the heart. Be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you don't get one. I mean, I understand it's business and it's work, but imagine, Auntie, I don't know, people are giving this a thought.
Yes.
All of us have a soul in each one of us. So there is an Almighty is giving us power. Yeah.
Yes.
I have been born in a Hindu family, so I follow Hindu tradition.
Yes.
But a question that I used to always ask people, and I never got a clear answer. And now that I'm reading the Vedas, in fact, why I'm reading the Vedas is this question: the whole concept of God. Yeah.
Yes.
And at some point, I had read this thing I love reading. I love going to mosques. I love going to churches. And at one point, I had asked a friend of mine who's Muslim, so he shared with me an English translation of the Quran, and it says that Prophet Muhammad was a messenger of God. Similarly, I have gone through the Bible, and it says Lord Jesus is the Son of God. Similarly, it says for some of the Hindu gods that they are incarnations of God.
So what do you think you are?
I am a normal soul. My point is...
Everybody is a child of God, my darling.
No, Auntie, but then who is the God? Of course, we are all children of gods.
Who is the God? You tell me.
I am on my way to discovering, Auntie, because one of the...
There's God in... God is everywhere. This person I'm interviewing now.
Sorry?
So aren't you part of that? Aren't you part of that? We're all part of the same energy. We're all out of the same energy. The tree, the blade of grass, the sky. Every day, this is what I pray for all animals, for all beings, all who are here, who are not here, till the last blade of grass is free. Because we're all that. We're that blade of grass, we're this light, we're this Anshuman, we're this Nandinii, we're this shawl over here, we're the sky, we're everything. So we're all part of that. We're all children of God and God.
Yeah, aren't we? We are all connected. So I feel this whole concept of trying to outdo another, trying to race, trying to put someone down, trying to show someone that So I think this is a good time to just take a back seat and realize this
Yes.
fact that you just said, because we are all and we are nothing.
Yes.
It was very. I had my first mango yesterday, Auntie, and
Yummy.
yeah, and I cracked open. I dried the leaf, dried the seed, and I cracked it open because I have an empty pot. So I thought I'll plant it in the pot for now.
Yeah.
And then I had just read the Chandogya Upanishad the week ago, and there was a beautiful example that if you see a mango tree, you see the leaf.
Yeah.
The tree is the same, the branches are the same, the leaves are the same. If you take the seed of the mango and crack it open, there'll be another seed inside. And if you
Yes.
crack open that seed, there'll be
Indeed.
nothing. Yeah. But that
Yeah.
nothing is powers that seed in the first place, isn't it?
Exactly.
We are all that we need to use this time to figure out, without getting too spiritual and boring, that we need to just chill out, be happy, love each other a little more, mean. This is something I always say, Auntie, that I think what you're thinking, what you're speaking, and what you're doing, I look at people and I judge them on their actions more than their words, because actions never lie. And I think it's a great time to take a step back and see if our speech.
Are in alignment. It went off.
Are you there?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so if your speech, thought, and action.
Are all in sync.
Yeah.
Coming to the shows, Auntie, I saw Mech Mafia.
What is that?
It's a series.
Is that in
on
alignment with this? But is
No,
that
it's
in
not.
alignment with this?
No,
Why
it's not. It's
Why not?
completely the opposite. Because I need to balance. I
But
can't.
why not? If the blade of grass is part of all this, then so is Mac Mafia. What
Of
do you
course,
say?
it's been created by a human who's a part of
Yeah.
God's big plans. So
Yes.
I thought you meant part of the spiritual journey.
Yeah,
No.
if you stretch it, it is. What you should not.
You realize how wrong decisions taken because of Auntie, it's a very interesting thing. One small thing, how uh, we spoke about action and decisions.
Yes.
It's really funny how at the beginning of the Gita, it said how Bhishma Pitama's life is a lesson in wrong decision making. And in the same breath, it adds that he's a man of good intention and integrity. So you realize somebody with the best of intentions and great integrity can make wrong decisions all his life.
Yes.
And the only way to fix that is never to forget the intelligence aspect. That's what he did. He never used thought from the integrity and intention point of view, and disregarded his intelligence, whereas he was a very intelligent
Yeah.
man. He should not have yeah. So that's what I'm doing, Auntie. Series. I'm doing a lot of Korean films. I saw Train to
Okay.
Busan again. It's one of my
Okay.
favorite films. Not the best thing to watch because it's about zombies, but I love it.
Oh God, some of them, yeah. Not at this
Auntie,
time.
Korean, they are brilliant. No,
Yeah.
I saw this love story for people because I am a huge romantic at heart. So I saw this lovely film called The Tune of Love. It's a Korean film on Netflix. Slow, very languid. I saw The Lion King, the new one. I had not seen it.
Okay, and
It was a little underwhelming. Maybe because I love the original so much that
that's the thing. Yeah.
What else? I just started watching something called Jack Ryan, which is an American series.
How is that? Is that fun?
I really like it because it's very understated, it's very
Yeah.
subtle, and
He's very good.
oh my God, John Krasinski. Ugh,
I love him. He's
I
so
didn't know
funny.
he's one of the writers.
He's a very intelligent man. Emily
Yeah,
Blunt's
and in the West,
husband. I love her too.
yeah. Oh, is he? He's Emily Blunt's husband? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, and they and Jimmy Kimmel are neighbors, and you have to see the kind of pranks they do. It's amazing. Every Christmas they prank
He's
each
made
other,
all the
like in a
choices.
huge way. Yeah, yeah.
Right
It's
woman,
amazing.
chosen the right profession,
Right, neighbor?
right neighbor. Who better than Jimmy Kimmel? Right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I prefer
So,
John Oliver. I like John Oliver more. He's my
yeah. Same here. I like John Oliver and I like Trevor Noah, my favorite.
Trevor
I
Noah is
love
very
Trevor
good.
Noah. I love the clever, very pleasant way he brings the news to you, you know?
Yes,
It's not all
but
like doomsday.
I like how John Oliver tears apart everything. So like, uh, yes, Parasite does. Somebody's written Parasite. I've seen Parasite in theaters when it was, and it does.
Explain
Parasite is
today's behavior.
right, because Parasite I thought was 5 films. When I got out of the theater, I thought I'd seen 5 films because it started as a comedy. It went into a black comedy space. Then it went into a drama after the families got into the house and started lying. And then it became a thriller once that doorbell rings and that other woman
Yeah.
comes and suddenly went in a bit of a horror space when she goes down the basement and then it becomes this farcical black dark
Comedy.
film by the end where
God.
uh,
Amazing.
that
Brilliant.
didn't deserve an Oscar, I don't think. Yeah. So yeah, Auntie, what are you doing? I don't know.
So
What are you?
I'll tell you, before that, somebody's asking, a couple of people have been asking me otherwise as well, that when are you going to interview Tara? I've been asking her and she's saying, Mama, wait, first interview everybody else. But I'm going to convince her to come on next weekend because I do want to interview her. I will let everybody know. In fact, after this, I'm going to tell her. So what have I been doing?
Yeah.
So when the lockdown first started, I was in the middle of getting prepared, like doing prep for a film. And we were leaving to start to shoot in Sri Lanka. And then, of course, we couldn't go. And in the first week, they kept saying, Ma'am, as soon as it finishes, we'll go, thinking that, okay, in 10 days, we'll be able to travel. And then, of course, we couldn't go. And then I thought that once they said that we're going to be locked down for those many days, that what is it that I can do with my time that may help others? And I said, okay, every evening at 6, we'll chant Om. And then I didn't want to make it very difficult for everybody. I wanted to give them something that's easy for them to do. So like I sit for a very long time, but I sit 21 times. So the amount of people that are sitting at 6 o'clock. So for 21 days, we sat for 21 times. And the first intention was just to send love, healing, and peace. And then again, we did another 21 days for all who are suffering at this time. Because suddenly there became so much about domestic violence, women being bashed up, children going through stuff, the migrant workers. I mean, everywhere I look, people seem to be suffering. I said, in my space, what can I do? I always look at that, Anshuman, that what can I do that won't overwhelm me, and yet I feel I'm doing my part, because sometimes I have little conversations with the creator, God, whatever you want to say, that why? And then I know that I can't fight too much because I adore the divine. But I know why? Why is this? And look, in duality, there's always going to be those who have comfort and those who are suffering. It's part of being here. It's part of living in duality. But okay, what can I do? And the best thing I've always found is I can pray. So that's why the 21 days. But my day starts with prayers and it ends with that. And yeah, and one of my first prayers in the morning is to pray for everything, including that last blade of grass, to have freedom and peace. And all animals, all insects, everybody, including all beings. So yeah,
Beautiful.
so that's what I do. And hello, I'm a work in progress. I make a lot of mistakes. I have my own feelings that go up and down at times, of course. And then and then I restart and reset. But yeah, that's what I do in my day. Yoga, meditation. invitation, and then I read a quote by Haruki Murakami, one of my favorites. And yeah. So my son for some time has been telling me, Mama, you know, you've got so much to give. Why aren't you doing something on YouTube? Why aren't you working with people online? And I just didn't feel that was the right thing to start at this time. So I read this quote, and once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure, in fact, whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. And that's what the storm is all about. Haruki Murakami. And I just thought that, you know, I want to start interviewing people and ask them how they're dealing with the storm. And I went to Tara, and I said, help me work out a nice title for this. So she said, what exactly are you wanting to do? So I said, I want people to tell me how they are coping with this time. So tell me something nice that matches cope. So then she said, Mom, cope with hope. And yeah, so
See why that girl is special. She just comes up
she's very
with the
special.
right,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
special.
yeah.
Auntie,
And then, yeah.
I love the quote, and just to add to that,
Yes.
it's beautiful that, because to think honestly, I don't think there's any human growth possible without the storms.
Yes,
I
there
think,
isn't.
and we need to look at this time as an opportunity to grow and evolve,
Yes.
because it's the storms that, if everything was great always, there wouldn't be any development in there,
Absolutely, Anshuman.
which makes it worth living and worth developing and worth evolving. And that's
I
the difference
agree with you.
in us. We have God's blessed us with the ability to think and choose.
As human beings, we have the ability to choose at every moment. And that's when it first happened. Everybody called me, are you scared? I said, firstly, why are you reading so much news? Why are you sending so many WhatsApps? Stop it. You're not reading. I said, no, I don't read. I delete everything. I'm not interested. We know this has happened. We've been asked to stay inside. How best can I use my time? I can use my time best by chanting, by doing the things that I love doing that keep me peaceful. And yeah, from day one, I've done that. You know, I have not got into this, let me be so scared, because hello, Anshuman, if I die, I'll die. Nothing's going to stop that if that is the will of the divine matrix at this moment. And if I live, then I live. But either way, I'm going to make sure that I'm happy and that I give as much as I can. Amazing performance in Abhay, brother.
Oh, thank you, man.
Okay, tell us about your performance.
That was Ken Ghosh. On a film set, it's always, or on a show set, it's always the director. I believe director is God because it's his vision. Ken convinced me to play the bad guy. I was very worried. Just like in Mastram, everyone told me, don't do Mastram. And everyone said, it's a big mistake you're making. Thank you.
A lust story.
No, because I've never... See, Auntie, I have taken my clothes off at Prithvi on stage in a play when I was 20. I did a play called Mr. Kolpo. So I didn't have any problem with the job. So my problem was never intimacy. My problem was how it will be done. And the producers very clearly addressed it beautifully by getting the best on the planet. The team that worked on Game of Thrones, they came down and did the intimacy. It's the first Indian show that has had intimacy directors. So
from the Game of Thrones. Wow.
Yeah. The women, Amanda and Megan, who came from Canada and LA, they've also worked on The Magicians, and they are intimacy directors. That's their job profile. And there is a setup. They have these, and the Indian units took time to adjust to it, but there were these two women, strong women with whips. They used to just make sure everybody followed, and they made us very comfortable. We did workshops. All the women were taken care of. They kept joking with me that it's the first time we are doing intimacy where the boy is more concerned and shy than the girls.
How
so they used
sweet.
to keep coming in. In fact, today Amanda messaged me saying that, "Are you happy with the edits? I hope you're not." So it was the most amazing experience, and also the show is a lot more than just the intimacy. There's a love story. There's a struggle of a man who's choosing to do all this because he wants to get the girl he really loves.
Yes.
And that's Tara in the show. And yeah, so I'm just glad that we all are getting opportunities as actors in this generation to experience the kind of things that we are, because I'll tell you what, it's a real blessing.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that they called Megan and Amanda, the directors from Game of Thrones, who choreographed the sex scenes, because that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think producers are visionaries. Producers are not given enough credit in our country.
Yes.
More than the director, because the director creates, I know. But if the director is the mother of a project, the producer is the father. There is no show without the producer. It's his
I
vision.
agree with you.
He's imagined it. He's backed what he's spoken with the money it deserves. And there are so many shows happening which have some sort of erotic content or have intimacy, but you know, the quality, there's only one way to increase quality. Just like action got better when specialized action technicians started coming in, it became cleaner, the VFX better. Similarly, intimacy will get better if there are specialists, and this, I'm sure this will open doors, because when people will see what is there in this show, they'll realize that now to match this, you'll have to really get no one but the specialists. Like
अच्छा, तो हिंदी में बात करो, ये जो मस्तराम वेब सीरीज अभी जो रिलीज हो रहा है MX प्लेयर में, जो भी सेक्स सीन्स थे उसमें, तो प्रोड्यूसर ने गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स के जो डायरेक्टर हैं, दो थे, मेगन और अमांडा, उनको बुलाया था, करेक्ट अंशुमन? हिंदी में बोल दो उनको।
बहुत आवश्यक होता है कि आप जब कोई काम कर रहे हैं, तो जो हमने शुरू में बोला था कि पूर्ण विद्या, अर्ध विद्या शैतान का घर, तो किसी भी चीज को पूरी तरह से करने के लिए उसकी पूरी जानकारी जरूरी है। तो जैसे अच्छा एक्शन करने के लिए एक्शन डायरेक्टर्स आप टेक्निकली स्ट्रांग हैं क्योंकि वो पढ़ लिख के आए हैं, या फॉरेन के एक्शन डायरेक्टर्स हम यूज करते हैं, या कोरियोग्राफी के लिए डांस मास्टर्स आते हैं जो डांस में स्पेशली ट्रेंड हैं। इंटीमेसी शूट करने के लिए एक सेंसिटिविटी चाहिए होती है, और एक तरीका होता है उसको करने का, एक सिस्टम होता है जो कि फॉरेन में फॉलो किया जाता है। और जो दुनिया में अभी सबसे बढ़िया इंटीमेसी डायरेक्टर्स हैं, उनको इस शो के लिए बुलाया गया, कनाडा और लॉस एंजलिस से, जिन्होंने इससे पहले गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स, मैजिशियंस ऐसे शोज पे काम किया है। तो जिसका फायदा ये हुआ कि जो सलीका था सेट पे, जो माहौल था, जिस तरीके से शूट हुआ है, वो बहुत ही उम्दा था, बहुत ही प्रोफेशनल था,
रिस्पेक्ट के साथ था,
के साथ था, प्रोटोकॉल्स सेट थे, रूल्स थे।
Anshuman, there's one more minute we have left for 1 hour to finish. It will just stop on its own.